Hello everybody, in this video we're going to be taking a look at how I painted up the new and awesome miniature for Logan Grimnar. So just before we get into the actual painting, there are a few sub-assemblies that I've done here. So we've got the wolves separate, the actual rock is separate, then Logan himself, and then Logan's head, the fur pelt, and the axe are all separate as well. And this is just simply down to an ease of painting. So for our first step, we're going to work on the armor, and for that I'm going to do a volumetric with my airbrush. So our first color is going to be Thunderhawk Blue. This is going to go all over the model, and then from 45 degrees we're going to spray on some Rust Grey, and then from 90 degrees we're going to spray on some Fenrisian Grey. Now, the purpose of this volumetric that we are doing here is that it's going to give us very natural highlights and shadows. So with the airbrush, because it sprays in a cone, as we are starting to aim from top down, we're going to hit obviously the highest points of the model, but then we are not going to be able to hit the underside where our natural shadows are going to form. So those are going to stay our shadow tone, which is going to be our Thunderhawk Blue. So with the airbrushing elements all done, this is our finished effect. So you can see now that we've got those nice bright Fenrisian Grey highlights up top where the light is catching, and then we maintain the darker Thunderhawk Blue in the shadows. So next up, we now need to do a pin wash over the model just to bring out some of the recessed details such as these runes and things like that. And for that, I'm just going to use an oil wash, simply because it's a lot easier to apply, and then you can just clean it off afterwards with a bit of mineral spirits. Now, the beauty with oils is that you get a much higher level of capillary action than you would if you're using, say, a GW wash like Norn oil. And you can see right here what I mean. As soon as we touch this oil paint to our surface, it just runs into all of those recesses, giving us really easy and really nice pin shading. So it's just a case of going around the model, looking for any of these areas that need some pin shading, such as here as well, and just touching your oil paint to those areas until you're happy with it. So now that I've done all of the pin shading, you can see that oils can be a little bit messy, right? Where we've touched the paintbrush, we've got little blobs of black here and there. If we have a look at the top, like this for instance. Now, this is where the next strength of oils really comes in. What we're going to need is a makeup sponge. You can use things like a Q-tip as well if you want, but I find these are a lot better because they don't leave little strands of fiber and stuff all over your model. So get yourself a makeup sponge. We're going to use our mineral spirits again, and we're just simply going to dunk our makeup sponge into our mineral spirits, whip off the excess, and then run that over where you've got your pin shading. And what that would do is where you have the little dots of paint, it's going to pick those up and just remove them. However, it won't get rid of the ones in the recesses because it's not physically going to be able to get into the recesses. So therefore we maintain our pin shading, and then we can just tidy up any mistakes as well. And here we go. So with the oils all cleaned up and everything been dried, this is the final result. So you can see everything is really nicely pin shaded, and that it is still nice and clean as well. So our next step is to start all of our edge highlights. So the first thing we're going to do is make a mix between our Fenrisian Grey and just a little bit of Blue Horror. So the main areas that we're really looking for with this edge highlight are just areas that are going to actually be catching our light, and our light source is coming from 12 o'clock. We're not going to necessarily do, every edge like it is on the box art, just the sort of prominent areas, such as along the top just here, the tops of the knees, and like the hands and things like that. After that 50-50 mix is done, we're now going to take just pure blue horror by itself and essentially repeat the process, but try to be a bit more fine with it. So we're trying to paint this within our 50-50 mix from earlier. And lastly, we're just going to mix in a little bit of white into our blue horror, and this time around we're looking to edge highlight just the sharpest corners where the light would catch the most. And there we go. So with the edge highlights all done, the actual main bulk of the armor is now finished. So next up, we need to move on to a few other colors. We're going to start with black, and that is going to be for things like the undersuit and the shoulder pad up here, and also the storm bolter. After that, we're going to move on to starting the pelt just here. And for the actual fabric part, we're going to start with some Baraknar burgundy, and then we're going to highlight it up with some reds. And then lastly, for the golds, now I want to keep the golds in a fairly cold tone because obviously the actual overall ambience of the model is quite cold. So for that, we're going to use some Necro Gold just to base it in. Okay, so here we are after all of those areas have been base coated in, and I did just do a very quick black wash over the gold. It was just the black wash that we used earlier on, the oil wash. So next up, we need to start highlighting. So we're going to start with the gold, and what we're going to use is a mix between Necro Gold and Peridot Alchemy, before then going into some pure Peridot Alchemy after that. So we're using a fairly small brush here, and what we're looking for is just to really sort of catch the areas that are going to be hit by our light source the most, leaving the darker gold in the shadow areas. When it comes to the parts like around the runes, what we're going to do is just look to actually highlight the panels next to the runes. But as you can see, obviously the runes, they fall off into a shadow area down here. So all we're going to really do is focus on this upper middle section just here. With the Peridot Alchemy, it's the exact same idea, just on a smaller scale. To finish off the gold, we're just going to take a little bit of chrome, and there's going to be essentially like a dot highlight on the most prominent areas where the light would catch the most. And here we go. So with all those highlights done, the gold on the armor is now completely finished. So next up, we're going to move on to highlighting the black details. And for that, we're just going to go into our grey tones. So we're going to be using Mechanica Standard Grey and then just some Dawnstone. Okay, so with the bolter all done, it is time to move on to the actual fur pelts. So they've just been blocked in with just any form of black, and we're going to be doing a black to grey fade on these, and it's going to be a black line on the outsides and grey in the middle. So for the fur, we're going to start with some storm vermin fur, then we're going to move into dawnstone, slate grey, which is just a brighter version of grey, and then finally a little bit of ushabti bone. So with our storm vermin fur, we're just going to start to dry brush from the inside of the actual pelt out towards the edges. With our dawnstone, I have gone down to a smaller dry brush size now because I want to be a bit more refined with it, and again focusing on this central line just here. And it is the exact same process with our slate grey and then later on our ushabti bone. We're just looking for a smaller and smaller area to really help refine that light point going into our darker points. Okay, so here we are after all of the dry brushing, and you can see that we get a really nice effect of our fade into our darker fur there, and it's the exact same on the actual main pelt as well, and along with the wolf head and the one that goes next to his face. It's all exactly the same. Now, the one thing with doing lots of dry brushing like this is that you do lose a bit of the definition. So what we're going to do is just return to our black, and we're going to turn our black into a wash, so a lot like using Northern oil. And we're just going to shade over most of the fur. I'm not going to necessarily go all the way to the brightest points, but around sort of areas like this, we can just put some of that black in there just to give us a bit of depth. And here we are after the black wash is all done, and you can see that it just helps to define all of those nice dark shadow areas, and also helps to just unify everything together as well. So next up, we don't honestly have too much left to really do. There's a few little bits and bobs, like little trinkets and things like that. And if you're looking on Logan himself, this little fur bit he's got here, I haven't done that black because I want to just do it a different color just to make it a bit more unique. But the main big stage left really is the axe and Logan's face. So we're going to work on the axe next, and then we're going to crack on with the face. For the axe Morkai, you're going to need 4 different colours. You're going to need a yellow, an orange, a red, and then any black. And we have also actually primed the actual part of the axe head in white. For our first step, we're just simply going to cover the entirety of the axe head in our yellow. Once that yellow is all base coated, we're now going to take our orange, and we're going to be spraying from about here downwards. So we're going to make sure that we still maintain some of that yellow in this deepest area just here. Once your orange step is done, take your red, and we're going to just spray the actual cutting edge of our axe. Once that red stage is all done, the actual airbrushing part of this is now finished. What we're going to do next is take our dry brush and our black, and we're going to actually stipple onto the cutting edge of the axe to show a part of a cooling effect. And there we go. With the stippling all done, the actual sort of burning effect of the axe Morkai is now finished. Now obviously do bear in mind it's not going to be as intense as this, because obviously these parts here are going to be painted in metallics, but this is the overall effect. Now if you want, you can come in with your oil wash that we used earlier on Logan's body, and just do an oil wash over the entirety of the axe just to get those nice deep recesses nice and black. I will be doing that myself. I'll just do it off camera. And then of course you come in with your mineral spirits and then just clean up any messes and you'll be good to go. So with the axe all airbrushed in, the only thing really that's left to do on Logan, besides just a few little bits and bobs that I'll do off camera, is the face. So for the face, we're going to start with some Bugman's Glow, and then we're going to build up our tones using Cadian Flesh Tone and Kislev Flesh. Once your Bugman's Glow is all dry, we're going to take our Cadian Flesh Tone and we're going to start to build up these highlights slowly over time on the raised areas of the face. Notice I have very little paint actually on my brush, and it is also quite thin, and this is just a case of keeping it nice and smooth as we build up slowly. Once that stage is all done, just simply repeat the process with your Kislev Flesh. So once you've done all of the highlights on your face, we're now going to take some Picatum Flesh, or you can use something like Ryclin Flesh Shade from GW. And this is simply just going to be to help define our deepest shadows. So we're only going to use a little bit of it. But if you look on, say, like the forehead just here, we have a very slight dent, and we can just run some of that into there. And with the Picatum Flesh all done, that is our face all finished. For the hair, I'm just going to be using the box art, so we're just going to be painting up with greys and whites. But again, I shall do that along with all the little trinkets and stuff off camera. So with the hair and all of the other sort of little bits and bobs all done, I have now obviously glued the model together and Logan is finished. The only thing that is left to really do is to base your model the same way as you would for the rest of your army, and obviously paint those walls. But the next clip will be the completely finished model. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.